Welcome to the Imperfect Dads podcast.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Devin.
We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids,
but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like.
Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood.
And how they feel like they're holding it all together.
Or how they're not.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. On this episode, we have on Jim Suptic. Jim Suptic is the lead guitarist for the Get Up Kids and is also the frontman for Blackpool Lights and is currently the director of operations for the nonprofit Steps of Faith. We talked about his daughter's learning to drive, our first cars, having a daughter going to college and high school next year, stories about what jobs he worked whenever he wasn't touring, how he ended up working with Steps of Faith, and what he's learned about advocating for amputee needs, and his love of British music and Kansas City sports. And also just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. Jim, welcome to an episode of The Imperfect Dads. Really appreciate you taking the time to do an episode with us.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, Jim, how many kids do you have? And
I have two.
You have two. Okay.
Two daughters. I have this is the very last week of high school. Yes. We have a graduation party on Sunday. The graduation's on Tuesday. And then I fly out for Greece to start a Get Up Kids tour the morning after the graduation.
Yeah.
And everyone else is going to be there like 2 days early. I've never been to Athens, but I'm like, I can't miss my kid's graduation. Obviously.
No, not at all.
Not so much.
But I land at 9:30 in the morning in Athens. We have a show that night. And then we have to leave for the airport the next morning at 5:30 in the morning to fly to Italy. So I'm going to be hurting. And the older I get, jet lag's awful. Like it makes you sick.
God.
I mean, I can't complain. I'm going to go to Europe on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like.
But yeah, I also have another daughter. She's 14 and she will be starting high school the next year. And funny enough, as I'm looking outside my office, her high school is directly across the street. So she can just like walk over after school. Yeah.
That's
Nice.
pretty cool.
That's cool.
Well, she's going to ride the bus, but
Okay.
we want to get her driving as soon as possible. Mimi, my oldest, took a little time. These kids these days, they don't want to drive. They take forever. They're like in no hurry to drive. And now, I mean, once they're doing it, now she wants to drive everywhere. But I'm just like, come on.
So what's the driving record or age there? Yeah.
So 17 is if that's just it. You have, no matter what, you're 17 and you pass your driving test, you have your license. But it turns out it's different than when I was a kid. I went to driver's education and I had like a restricted license when I was 15. And then right when I turned 16, I had my license. But they have a new rule here, which I didn't know about. If you don't have like your permit long enough or you're restricted long enough, you have to wait to get your driver's license. So Mimi didn't even get a full license until she was almost 17. But now I know the rules.
Yeah.
So Tallulah, my youngest, she's taking driver's ed this summer at 14, just so she'll be good to go. Because we're like, you're going to be driving at 15. Restricted license, you can drive from school. And we don't live that far. We live like, I don't know, 2.5 miles, which is nice. We moved our offices. It's so nice. Like it takes me 5 minutes to get to work now.
Nice.
Great.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Now, I still remember like turning 16 and like also back then, like music, to listen to it the loudest, you had to do it in a car. Cause like I'm the youngest of 3. To be able to listen to an album loud in my house, there was always someone yelling at me to turn it down. So like a car was the opportunity to go see my friends whenever I wanted to get a job and to listen to music as loud as I wanted to. And I don't feel like the youth today have that same value system.
No, they're all in earbuds. I had a 1973 Volkswagen Beetle. Driving around, I always remember it's Fugazi 13 songs on cassette.
Yeah.
I get those 7 songs was the original one. So that's I think of Waiting Room, those songs driving in my bug, smelling like gasoline, no heater, air conditioning.
Jeez.
Nothing at all.
That's a great car though.
Yeah. I love thinking about that of like, I have 3 kids. I have a 9 and 7-year-old daughters and a 3-year-old son. And like, I already know whatever car they're going to get in high school is going to be so much nicer. I had like our minivan after everyone had moved out of the house. Like they had replaced like the key ignition with like a button because it didn't work anymore. And like, I was just grateful it didn't explode in the car parking lot ever. And I don't think my kids are going to have that same experience.
Yeah, my Mimi has a Honda Fit that's been handed down, and
Yeah.
it got clipped by it. I was driving in this really windy day, and a tree branch fell and clipped the side of it of the front. So the front end I had to like strap down, and then she got in a little fender bender on the other side. So now this whole thing is just duct taped together. I'm like, she's
Nice.
actually getting a new car uh in like 6 weeks when I get back from not a new car, but a
Yeah.
nicer used car since she starts college and she's gonna have to drive. She's gonna live at home at least the first year. So
Okay.
you got it, and it's just safer, right? Then
Yeah.
everyone feels better.
Yeah. Yeah, my first car was a 1988 Dodge Caravan,
Okay.
or it was like it was whatever the version of the Plymouth is.
Wait, and
And
you would have gone to high school like in the early 2000s. So that would have been like a
yeah,
20-year-old car by the time you got it, right?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
But it was awesome.
It was
So I
on
took
stick
like
rims. We lowered it. Yeah.
Yeah.
no, that's the second car that I did that kind of crap to. But the first one, I took out the seats, and this was probably totally illegal and definitely not safe. But I put them in an L shape, almost like a limo style.
Okay.
Yeah,
I bet you thought that was so cool.
I did. And
Yeah.
luckily I never got into a wreck because they were not like secured. They would have been
I mean,
flying
when
everywhere.
I was a kid, they didn't have car seats.
Yeah.
True.
My aunt smoked in the car driving us to the pool, and I would be an MG midget
Yeah. Yeah.
behind a two-seater like this with the speakers while she's smoking, driving me and my sister to the pool. I mean, there were no rules.
No. I'm never surprised whenever people our age are like really worried about car safety and car seats and stuff. I'm assuming it's just some form of PTSD. I
Yeah,
remember being thrown into the back
yeah,
of a station wagon and getting a concussion
yeah.
because of how their parents were driving.
I think they just held us. I
Yeah,
remember
they did. Yeah.
bringing, when you have your first kid and you're at the hospital and like they go and they check your car seat and
Yes.
like they're like it's hardcore, and I remember like I couldn't get it tight enough, like I couldn't
Hmm.
figure. It's like I'm like sweating, like, ah. And then you got a kid, like I have to keep this thing alive. You're just letting me take this home? Yeah, that's a
Yep.
surreal day.
Dude, whenever you bring your kid home from the hospital, you never realize how inadequate you were in so many areas of life. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, I don't know how to put a car seat in correctly. Sweet. I'm starting the day off great. Let's do this. Now let's try to soothe the screaming newborn. Let's do this. I got this.
good times
Joys.
on
The
nosebleed.
joy. Yeah, exactly.
I've
Yes.
blocked out, now that my kids are so much older, you sort of block that out. I even remember my kids are like 3.5 years apart.
Mhm.
And I remember when my second daughter was born, you kind of forget everything. Like I was like, oh, I don't even remember. How do I put on a diaper? You remember like it's just trying to put like, like it's crazy. I think it's just because it's so stressful. You wouldn't want another kid if you would remember how stressful it was. And by the time
Yes.
you forget, then you're like, oh yeah,
We're fine.
like
We
we
got
almost
this.
had three. I'm glad we didn't. I don't think I could have handled three. I know I would have had three girls, and that would have just been
Yes.
too much.
I mean, as someone with three kids, three's good. Like, no fourth,
They
nothing like
outnumber you
that.
though.
Yeah, they do. So yeah, it's just me hoping to somehow manage the chaos every single day and hoping I'm somewhat successful in.
My kids now, they're still self-absorbed. Once they become
Yeah.
teenagers, like when I'm on tour, I try to call them. I'm like, hey guys, you can call me anytime and I'll pick up the
Yeah.
phone. And they're just, they're doing their own thing. I was self-absorbed teenager too, so
Yeah.
I get it.
What do they think of you being in a band and going on tour and everything? Or they did not really
That's just
care?
always what I've done. I
Yeah.
think they used to miss me more. They finally came in. So when we played Kansas City in, I don't even know what it was, September, came and saw me play. So I think it was one of the first times my youngest saw me. It's just, I don't know. I think she just thinks it's weird that people sing along to her dad. But I also have like a day job. So I'm like it's very straight, it's like
Yeah.
I juggle two things of like this. And then that was me typing if people aren't visually watching this. and then I just go on tour. Like I said, I'm going to Europe. I'm very lucky. Billy Brimblecom, who I work with, I was in a band, Blackpool Lights, with him. So he understands. So I'm able to work from the road, which has been really good. This year has been very crazy though, because we never I toured almost 5 months this year, and that's never we I mean, it's usually 3 months maximum. It's more like usually like 2.5 months we tour a year. So this has been kind of a crazy time.
I was trying to think of when you guys would have done a tour this big, and I can't think of a time because I feel like you did like big markets, middle-sized markets, and now you're going overseas. Like this is a real full year of
Yeah,
touring.
we went to South America and
Yeah.
Mexico. We're going, yeah, like Singapore and Jakarta, places we've never been, Australia.
Wow.
It's wild, yeah. But we're kind of, I don't know. I'm 47 years old. We're touring on our biggest record. We're kind of like, if we're gonna do it, let's just do it. But I mean, like as of October, we have nothing on the books. So there you go. Yeah.
When your daughters were born, were you touring more with Blackpool Lights or as the Get Up Kids whenever they were born?
I was in Blackpool Lights when
Okay.
Mimi, my oldest, was born. And I toured. Yeah, that was rough because we weren't making a ton of money. And
Mhm.
I toured for about a year, the first year. And then Black Lights broke up. And I just started working day jobs because I was going to go back to college. I thought, yeah, I was just kind of like, I guess I'm done with music. I gave it all I could. And then the Get Up Kids got back together within like 8 months of that
Are
time.
you
So
serious?
so then I just started touring again. I mean, I guess we did tour a lot. Rob, our bass player, he was in
Mhm.
Spoon at the time,
Yeah.
and they were really busy. I mean, we had some fill-ins for him, but that kind of kept us. And then James, our keyboard player at the time, was in My Chemical Romance, so everyone was
Yeah.
like just doing other things. So yeah, but it's difficult.
Well, especially with like, I don't know. I would also find it very hard to keep doing it because, yeah, I would imagine you had reached a point with Blackpool Lights where you're like, oh man, this isn't catching on the way I thought it would. I need to completely change whatever lane I'm in because I feel like by then you'd already been a musician for like 15 years or so, right?
Yeah, if I would have been like 20, 21 and had whatever success Blackpool Lights had, I
Yeah.
think I would have been more, okay, we're going to keep doing it. Let's put out
Yeah.
another record. It's just, I went from being in one of the biggest indie rock bands in America to then like,
Yep.
oh crap, starting. I mean, we did cool stuff. We got to go to Japan. We toured with some cool bands, but it's just hard to make a living playing music when you have a kid, and like have a mortgage payment and all those things. But yeah, but then the Get Up Kids, we took a break for a while, and I went back to college because I was like, I just like whatever happens, I'll get a degree. I was gonna go back to art school, which is what I originally did out of high school, but I got a degree in geology,
Okay.
and which might be strange, but I kind of wanted just like a more practical job, like a degree that so I worked for the USGS for a bit. And
Cool.
then I realized I didn't really like working for the federal government, and the
Yeah.
Get Up Kids were going to do this tour. So I was like, you know what? I just want to go back to playing music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you go back to college at or where'd you finish up your degree at?
UMKC, Missouri, Kansas City.
Cool. Yeah.
But I initially went to the Kansas City Art Institute my freshman year. And then we signed a record deal and we all dropped out of college.
Yep.
What was your
That's
major at the art institute?
I was going to go into printmaking, but at the time I hadn't chosen because I was the freshman year there's called foundation year, where you're basically trying to figure out like what medium or path you want to go down. And I had a scholarship, so I thought I could keep. I mean, I could have come back a year later and kept my scholarship because I knew we were going to go to Europe and do some touring. So I thought, well, worst case, I go back. But then everyone was like, no, this is what we want to do.
Mhm. Where's your daughter gonna go to college at?
She's going to go to Johnson County Community College, which is
Cool. Nice.
actually a really great community
Yeah.
college, and live at home. Like I said, the first year, she's going to get a fine arts associate's. Then her goal is she wants to go to school in the Netherlands.
Okay.
She wants to be an art teacher. She like her dad is, she was really into theater. I was never theater, but she's in, just dancing, visual arts. Yeah. She got really
What's
into
in
visual arts. So yeah,
what's in the Netherlands that's
I
pulling
think
her that way?
there's just, they pay teachers better.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
I just think, yeah, it's not America right now. I
Yep.
think that's why, if you want to know the honest truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Yep. My wife went to Kansas for grad school, and in our wedding vows, I said that I'm from Indiana, big Indiana University fan,
There you
and I
go.
told her I'd always cheer for
Basketball schools.
That's right. I told her I'd always cheer for Kansas unless they played IU. So it was in our wedding vows. I have to cheer for Kansas unless they're playing against Indiana. So
Ever gone to Allen Fieldhouse?
I have for when she graduated from grad school. So I've been inside of it. I
Not
haven't been there
watched a
for a
game.
game.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Seeing a
So
game in Indiana is on my bucket list.
yep,
It's one of those like classic Allen Fieldhouse. It's like going to like Wrigley Field or something. It's pretty wild. Yeah.
yeah. What's it feel like to have Kansas sports actually be good now? Because like I mean, you've lived through so many bad years of the Royals and the Chiefs.
Yeah, and it's always like they could never be the same. When the Royals were really good, the Chiefs, like when the Royals went to the two World Series, like in 2014, 2015, the Chiefs were at rock bottom, and now it's flipped. Well, now Royals, and then finally the Royals are now doing well. So, but our soccer team's terrible, and they used to be the best. The Chiefs and
Yes.
Royals are terrible, and then Sporting was the best team. So yeah, I don't know. People just love sports in Kansas City. It's just, there's just not a lot. I don't want to say Kansas City's boring, but that's like what people are into. They go out to eat. They like to go to bars.
Yeah.
They go to Lake of the Ozark. They're and they and they go to sporting events. Like our women's soccer team's really really good, and they have their own
Cool.
stadium now.
Yeah.
We're getting the
Wow.
World Cup, and we're like the smallest market to get World Cup games.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're the only one that has a standalone women's stadium.
Until Denver built one. Denver's going to build one for
That's
their team.
great.
Yep.
That's great. Yeah, every I think ours holds 12,000, and it's
Cool.
every game is sold out,
That's awesome.
which is awesome. Yeah.
That's really cool. Did you guys write the theme song for Sporting KC at one point in time?
No, no, Blackpool Lights, we wrote a
Okay.
song for them.
Okay.
That's really cheesy. And they basically just had bands from towns. I think like OK Go did one for
Yes.
Chicago Fire, and
Yeah.
ours is pretty cheesy. I was trying to write like a cheesy song,
Yeah.
but then it became a chant when Sporting scores. So it's like very strange to go. It's not Seven Nation Army or anything, but it is strange to hear people chant words that you wrote
Yeah, absolutely.
for a sports team, your local sports team. Yeah.
That's
It
cool.
was an honor.
That's cool. When you go to sporting events, do you take your daughters with you? Are they on the sports train with you? Or are they just kind of like, have fun, Dad? We'll see you in a couple hours.
Yeah, they played soccer. They were both into dance, but, and they did Girls on the Run. They're just, they just were never, they don't have that competitive drive in them.
Mhm.
And they don't really care so much about sports, but they like going to games. Like they
Okay.
like going to Royals games because they eat peanuts and cotton candy, and nachos. Like it's just fun. It's a fun thing to do. But I mean, they like Super Bowl and stuff. Like just around here, it's like the Chiefs are everything. People would act like Kansas City is a bunch of like fair weather fans. It's like the Chiefs have always been everything in Kansas City. Like they've always been the most important thing, even when they were terrible. So it's kind of like you can't go to school without kids talking about the Chiefs, and that was a Taylor Swift thing. They're
Yeah.
my youngest loves Taylor Swift, so they just definitely they it's kind of cool. So good. He lives like, I don't know, a mile and a half from me, like walking distance. And at the bottom
Really?
of my hill, there's a really nice restaurant called Rye. It's like a really great steak place. And they eat there a lot because they have like a private back area. So my kid thinks that's very cool. That's like Taylor Swift could be right down the street at any moment.
I love the fact that like I think you're an influential artist. You've been a musician for like 25 years at least. And your daughter's like, wait, but how do I get to Taylor Swift? Can you get me to Taylor
Yeah.
Swift? Then you're
I will,
nothing to me, Dad.
I will tell you, it's been kind of cool because my oldest was really into 21 Pilots. And I've got friends who had worked for that record label, merchandising stuff. So I've been able to get on guest lists and stuff.
That's cool.
And then a crazy hookup I had, Mike Portman, the drummer of Hot Rod Circuit, is Billie Eilish's drum tech.
What?
And
Really?
so, yeah, and he's been doing that for years. So I got to take both my kids to two different shows. And this last time she was there, we got like fourth row tickets, and my daughter got to bring one of her best friends. So I look like the dad of the year. So thanks, Foreman.
That's cool.
Yeah. So things like that, I think that's cool. One thing that I found out that I guess is important, and I didn't even know this because I didn't set it up like an old manager did. I have a check mark on Instagram, which means I guess I'm verified. Like I didn't even know what it means. Someone's like, "Oh, how do you like?" I didn't even know what it meant a few years ago. And then
Yeah.
my kids like want like their friends like, why aren't you following my friends? Like that's important to them because I have a blue check mark. So for me to follow them, I guess that's important when you're in middle school.
That's awesome. You're just trying
And
to
I'm
help.
like the least person who cares. That's what I'm saying. I didn't even know. Someone's like, "Oh, dude, how'd you get verified?" I'm like, "What does that mean?" I don't know. I literally didn't do anything. Our manager filled something out.
I think you actually pay for it to be verified. So hopefully it's through like a business account and you don't
I don't
have
know.
like a rant.
I didn't. I wouldn't pay for it. I literally just was told I had it.
It's how you know you're legit, Jim. Before then, people weren't too sure, but now everyone knows
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
are.
Guess I'm a big deal. Smell me.
Yeah.
To the bee's knees, man.
Can you tell us a little about what you do with Steps of Faith or how you ended up? I know Billy and you are good friends. We're in a band together and all that. How'd you end up taking that role with them?
Yeah. So I work for this nonprofit called Steps of Faith. And if you don't know what we do, I'm guessing most people don't. We help amputees who don't have insurance or they have insurance that doesn't cover prosthetic limbs, which a lot of places like Medicaid in Texas doesn't cover anything after 18, which is crazy. And I think a lot of people just don't know that. Like if you told the average person, do you know that people can't get prosthetic limbs on Medicaid? If you told a Texan that, they like, why would they know that? You know? Uh, so yeah, so how this all came about was Billy, who's our CEO, Billy Brummelcombe, he had Ewing sarcoma and lost a leg to cancer, and he was the drummer of my band Blackpool Lights. And this was all happening while we were making our first record. Like he was in chemotherapy playing drums.
Dude, what?
It's kind of wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and so anyway, our band breaks up. Billy goes to Nashville to be a studio drummer, and he's doing that, and then has a couple kids, and his prosthetist, that's a clinician who helps amputees and do all the leg fitting and all that. He had this nonprofit just sitting there, like it never got started. He just had the 501c3 and was just kind of talking to Billy. He's like, I bet you could do this. I bet you could help me get this off the ground. So Billy helped start this nonprofit in Nashville and did that there for like 3 years or something, 4 years, and then was moving back to Kansas City. And at this time, the Get Up Kids were on kind of like it was one of the years where we weren't touring as much. So I said to Billy, like, hey, maybe I can help you. You know, I was working just like maybe work like 10 hours a week because I don't want to go get a job,
Uh-huh.
because we're going to be touring, but I can help you and whatever. And yeah, in the first year, yeah, we ended up raising like $100,000 because we put on this big concert event called Thunder Gong that I'm wearing the shirt that our friend Jason Sudeikis hosts, and like Will Forte. We've had Fred Armisen. Last year we had Weird Al Yankovic and Flavor Flav. So
That's
now it's
cool.
just like
That's so cool.
this big event. And so this job that was just like I thought would be a part-time thing just to help my friend get it off the ground in Kansas City. Now it's a salaried career, and I've been doing it
Yeah.
for over 7 years,
Wow.
almost 8 years. And we've helped like 1,700 people. Last year,
Yeah.
I mean, we're on pace this year to help 500 people
Dude.
and raise like $2 million, which
Yeah.
and then the first year I think we helped 30 people. So to watch it like grow to this, it's pretty awesome. It's been kind of a perfect thing for me. And now I really like working in nonprofits, and I think moving down the road, I would probably do something similar if I wasn't here. Yeah.
Do you get to meet a lot of the people that you help in person?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, we help if they're in Kansas City. I've been to like fittings and stuff, which is always
Cool.
like an emotional thing. We
Yeah.
do every year at Thunder Gong. We do a patient it's called a fund to need part of the where we have someone we've helped. Really great volunteers who do like amazing videos, pull at the heartstrings and yeah, so that's always that's an awesome thing. And like the clinicians, a lot of times they don't get that recognition, so they get to come up on stage with celebrities, and it makes them feel
That's cool.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but we help nationwide. I mean, in the Kansas City, like Kansas to Missouri, I think it's probably only like 10% of the people we help, maybe less, just because, yeah, we don't help outside the United States, but yeah, any state. I think we're up to like 43 states or something now. Got people walking. Yeah.
You would think with something such important would be something that would be covered by insurance, or you'd have an easier time being able to do it. That's just baffles
Yes, I
me.
mean, some states are better than others, That's why we tend to help a lot of people in Texas and
Mhm.
certain states have different levels of Medicaid. A lot of stories we get is someone, they lost their jobs or they lost their insurance. They don't that like they're just desperate. And, that's the best story. I mean, I don't have to go on a tangent about insurance and America's
Yeah,
Yeah.
insurance
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
system
yeah.
because
Yeah. Like,
it's definitely not perfect, but it is what it is. And the ultimate goal is like they can get back to work, back to getting on insurance. It's like this job really is frustrating too because I look at like the state of Texas who do this, and you think, okay, you said they can be in a wheelchair, but what if they're like a welder, right? Or like doing like construction? Well, they can't do that job in a wheelchair. Let's say you've been a welder for 10 years and that's your experience, and like you're making $50 an hour, and now you're making minimum wage, like by just paying $5,000 for a prosthetic leg, then that person would be working and they'd be paying more in taxes. They'd be,
yeah.
it's just such short-sightedness. And, we're just here to fill in the gaps of all of that. Yeah. It is we always say, I wish we didn't exist. I wish we did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah.
mean, when I
Yeah.
say that, I mean, I wish we shouldn't have to exist. You know what we should be doing? We should be getting like running blades to kids and things like that. Like just, but,
Yeah.
but
Of
here
course.
we are. So I'm
Yep.
glad we're here, but maybe someday
Yeah.
we can switch what our focus is on, like helping get like ramps into houses or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But just walking, that should just be a given, right?
It should be. Have you ever like gone and spoke in front of like government officials or anything like that to
Yeah.
advocate for your guys' causes?
There's a thing called Hill Day that
Okay.
he's gone to through some different other nonprofits. And yeah, he's gone. He's talked to our representatives
Okay.
since we're interested in Kansas City. He's been
Yeah.
because our offices were in Missouri. Now we're back on the Kansas side. We all live in Kansas. I'm a Kansan. I grew up in Kansas, but he's been able to talk on both sides of state line. And, sometimes he's talked to our representatives in person, and we know them just because of our event. They want to be a part of it, but sometimes I just feel like you're talking and is it doing anything? You're talking to like their intern. I'm like, are they reading this? Are
Yeah.
they,
Of course.
we're not $1 million lobby. We're just trying to get people walking. And then
Yeah.
sometimes it's frustrating. I know in Missouri, they voted to expand Medicaid, like the state, like the people voting. And then the government said no and like blocked the will of the people. So they're like,
Yeah.
what's democracy at this point?
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, I'm
not
getting on my
even.
soapbox right now.
No, you're good.
There,
I mean, that's an aspect I feel like of becoming a dad is you start to find all these things you feel like you need to advocate for that like 5 years ago you didn't even know existed. And here you are getting very mad about something very specific and for very justifiable reasons.
Yeah. My mother's an amputee as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And crazy enough, my mom was not an amputee when I started this job,
Okay.
really?
which is she has rheumatoid arthritis and broke a leg and it never healed. Yeah. It's like a club you never think you're going to be a member of. It's like I know more about being an amputee than a brand new amputee just because I'm around it every day. I'm talking to clinicians because you don't know. You know nothing. Why would you? Why would you know anything about it? Unless you're born with limb difference, then yeah. But it's been really cool because anytime I'm on tour and I see an amputee like at our show and they're in a wheelchair, I have to talk to them. Like I have to say, why don't you have a limb? And yeah, because I'd feel like terrible if I didn't. I remember I was in Florida and we played in Tampa, St. Pete, and there was a guy in a wheelchair, and he ended up there was a reason why like he was in between or something. But then another gal who was an amputee like walked by, who was a fan, and then now we're friends on social media. I'm like, oh wow. So yeah, it's like I'm like an honorary member.
Yeah. That's cool.
What did you do anything before working for Billy other than just the band for the Get Up Kids? And
Yeah, I worked for the USGS for a bit.
oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I
Yeah.
did. It was a fun job. So I was a hydraulic technician, hydrological technician. I don't even remember what my title was.
You
Basically,
could say anything right now and be like, sure.
yeah. So it was like flood management, basically. Like they have all across, next time you're like going over like a bridge or something, you'll see like a USGS box. And so what's inside of it, it's measuring the level of the river. But there's like electronic part, and then there's a manual one where it has like I have like you get out on like bridge it like there was one, it's scary as hell, where it's like a train bridge over the Missouri River where I had to get
Okay.
permission and like walk out and trains are going by. I remember one time
Uh,
this train's going by. I'm like 100 feet above the river, like corns flying off it, hitting me as a
Oh
so
my
anyway,
goodness.
you drop this thing down, this like weight, and what you have to see it when it hits the water, and then you measure it. So basically, you're just making sure that the digital device is matching up, with that device. Anyway, and then you go back, take your data, put it in, and you know, there you
yeah.
go. And sometimes it's wild. Like you'll go out after floods, and it's just like raging deluge, like almost dangerous. I wasn't I mean, all the rivers we had, we were northern Missouri. Some were pretty, some were in the middle of nowhere. But I did some training down in southern Missouri where like the Ozarks are, and it's all rock, like Ozark Mountains. There's rainbow trout swimming. I'm like, I wasn't gonna move there, but I'm like, it's so much more pretty. Like I almost
Yeah.
applied for the same job in Durango, Colorado.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
how much fun with that? Like you're in the mountains doing this
Yep.
job. But it's kind of wild. Like some in our manual, like they had handgun training because in a lot of if you're like in Montana or something and there's grizzly bears, you can carry a sidearm with you just in case. I'm like, that's wild.
Jeez.
Not some. I mean, I was like in the inner city of Kansas City. It's how it is. We actually found there was a. It's a. Now I'm just going off on a tangent, but there's
Yeah.
like one of the rivers we did, there's like a gigantic bridge above it. And multiple times, I never found one, but people I work with did. They found guns because people would throw the gun off. So they were using crimes, right? So they were throwing them
Yeah.
off the
Yeah.
bridge, thinking the river was like super deep there. No, it's like, but right where that was, it's like 3 feet deep because we'd walk across to measure it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so they have to call the police. Yeah, we found a handgun. Yeah, wild.
Oh, jeez.
That's awesome. I live out in Denver area, like Denver suburbs.
I was just in Denver.
Were you really? Where were
Yeah,
you at around here?
I went and saw Sam Fender play at the
Nice.
Fillmore. If you know Sam
Nice.
Fender,
I don't, but I'll look him up
he's
now.
awesome. He plays literally stadiums in England,
Okay.
and I saw him in front of 3,000 people.
That's
And he was amazing. Yeah, he's kind of like War on Drugs meet, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, just like singer songwriter. Yeah.
cool.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you're Denver.
Denver. Yeah. No, I just went and saw a show at Mission Ballroom, which is in Rhino area. So I was just up
Okay.
there. But
It's
my
nice.
friends,
It's a real city.
whatever. Kansas City is real also, but Denver is a
City's
very
great.
different
I
vibe.
like it, but I went to some restaurant there. It's like some Japanese restaurant, and it
Yeah.
was like kind of near there, kind of near all that
Yes.
area. And it was like all these chefs. I was there at happy hour, completely packed. I'm like, oh, I just like, this is a real city. This is like a world class. Like we might have one restaurant like that in Kansas City. There's like 10 in Denver. Anyway,
Yes.
good for you guys.
Yeah, but my friends whose parents still live in Durango, since it is a mountain town, they've told me that they've gone back sometimes just to help their parents shovel snow off the roof because
Wow.
if
Yeah.
too much snow gets on the roof could collapse. And I'm like, that's never been part of my reasons I'm going to help my parents today. Shoveling snow off their roof. That's not my wheelhouse. Not for me.
Yeah, I can't handle that. Like I love Buffalo. I think it's actually a great town,
Okay.
but I could never live there.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of snow, like there's like snow and then there's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
At
sounds,
least in Denver, we're so close to the sun that the snow melts pretty quickly.
yeah, I
So
think
that makes a
people,
big difference.
you get the rain shadow effect from the
Yep.
mountains. Here's a geology term.
Yeah, let's
And
do
I think
this.
people, yeah, I think people don't realize that, yeah, Denver is like one of the sunniest cities in the United States. Like it does snow, you will get hit, but it's
Mhm.
not like what people think, right?
Yeah. No, I sent one of my friends is trying to move out here, was thinking about moving out here. And he was like, does it still snow? And it snowed like the last weekend in April. So I took a picture of our back porch in the morning where it was like 5 inches of snow. And then I took a picture at 5 p.m. that day and all of it had melted. And I was like, it
Yeah,
does
Wow.
snow.
yeah.
Here's the reality of the snow, though. So it's a little different. How much do you love late 90s, early 2000s British music, such as Blur, Travis, Radiohead, all those bands, and Oasis, of course?
That is my favorite time period and
Okay.
genre of music. Like I always say, if I like my dream is like I would be like 19 in 1994, living in
Yeah.
Camden in
Yeah.
London. Like that would be like, yeah, I love it so much. I have a DJ night called Cool Britannia with the bass player Zach of the Whiff. I don't even know that band, and then Rob Pope, our bassist in
Yeah.
Dead Kids. We do that sometimes and spin. It's basically the bet. It's all Brit pop, but we also do like the Clash. We do like
Okay.
British punk, but it's heavy focused on that era. Yeah, I'm actually going to see Oasis at the last Manchester show,
Dude, seriously?
and then we're going to the first uh, Wembley show in London,
Dude.
and then we're going to go see them in Chicago, and then we had tickets for LA, but we had to cancel because now we're doing this show in New Jersey right before we leave for Japan. And I thought, I'm going to see them in Manchester at
That's pretty
Wembley
awesome.
and
Yeah.
once in the States. I
That would
think,
be cool.
I think you're
Yeah.
good. I
yeah,
mean, if you need more than that, Jim, I think you should probably see some help because your
yeah.
Oasis needs are a little too much.
I was wearing my Oasis shirt yesterday. That would have been, yeah. Yeah, I kept telling people because they're like, don't believe me. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm like, they're my Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And, our group of friends were like, if they get back together, this is like 10 years ago. If they ever get back together, we're going to London. We're going to go see them in England. And it's like insane. I won a lottery to get, I had the pre-code because all of our friends were like, okay,
Yeah.
how are we going to do this? I was the only one who got it. And I'm like, I'm going to try to get the Wembley tickets because I knew the first night at Wembley would be the hardest of what we were looking at. I got them. And then my friend Heather, we were all like on tour and she's like in New York. We're in LA. It's like 1 a.m. It's 4 a.m. in New York or whatever. And I'm like 250,000th in the queue. And I kid you not, she was like 73 in the world.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it was just dumb luck. So then we got the tickets. So now we're going to Manchester. I just bought my flight actually 2 days ago, and we're going to go up to Edinburgh for a few days, having a holiday. Yeah, it's going to be a
That's
trip of a
cool.
lifetime. I'm so excited.
That's
Heck
awesome.
yeah.
I always love to ask people, like, do your daughters consider Oasis and all those bands like the ultimate dad music because you're so obsessed with it?
No, but they know them all because that's what I listen to in the car. So they
Yep.
know Oasis. They know the Beatles. I mean, yeah, they, you know, Mimi, my oldest, is getting more into punk rock. Like
Okay.
she loves Pavement, Bikini
Nice.
Kill,
Yeah.
but also, went and saw Taylor Swift play and like Chapel Roan. And so I think the kids these days, I don't know, where we were like, I feel like I'm into punk rock. I'm into this. I can't like that because that's popular.
Yep.
They don't care as much nowadays, which is probably for the better, I guess. If it's good, it's good.
Public. I don't know if like a guilty pleasure exists anymore. Cause yeah, like if I was in high school and listening to you guys, but then it was like, also I like this pop song. It's like, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. No one cares
Yeah.
anymore.
No, they don't.
Everyone's just like, is this song really catchy? Yes. Awesome. Then we're good to go.
That's it.
Dude, that's how I've been. I listened to everything from rap to Christian rock at one point. It was whatever sounded good, and a lot of
Well,
Christian rock did not sound good at the time.
well, you know what I've learned because people always ask like what type. Obviously, I play in a punk rock band, and indie rock. Yeah, that's what I like grew up on. But people always like shocked, like, wait, you like country music? I'm like, well, yeah, I like metal. I like, it's like I like Dio. It's like,
Yes.
but the thing is, like, for every genre of music, the best is good, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's really, I mean, obviously like old school country, I love, but even in modern country, there's good people, the cream of the crop, but just like emo or punk or whatever, yeah, 95% of it's terrible and
Yeah.
just derivative everything, you know. Unless you really love a genre, like I'm such an Anglophile, so I just love Britpop. I'll listen to bad Brit just because I love that. And I'll listen to kind of bad punk or indie because that's my favorite
Yeah.
stuff. But
Yeah.
good music is good music. Like you can't, and I'll always love a good song, like a well-crafted pop song. I'll always appreciate.
I mean, like the early 90s, no one escaped Garth Brooks or Shania Twain. Everyone listened. Everyone had to, at some point in time, listen
And
to
when
them,
you're from
regardless if you want to or not.
Kansas,
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're every
Garth
dance
Brooks.
was
Yep.
playing Friends in Low Places,
Yep.
and yeah, you could not escape that. Shania Twain, yeah,
Well, dude, like McDonald's had like things going on for Garth Brooks. I remember.
Did they? I
I
don't
don't
remember
remember
that.
exactly what it was, but he's everywhere.
yeah. I mean, he was on pop radio. He was really one of the first, like the big, like truly had that crossover, that early 90s where country music was having its heyday. Yeah.
Yeah,
He did like
definitely.
8 nights here. So he holds the record, just kept selling them out when they opened our arena here in like the middle 2000s. Crazy.
He did. I'll always respect Garth Brooks a lot because I forget how many shows he did, but in 2010, Nashville had a really bad flood, and he did a bunch of shows at Bridgestone. I think maybe like a
Yeah.
week or so where all the proceeds went to help out with like flood stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I think by the end, he had like no voice. It was just him strumming a guitar while the entire crowd screamed his songs at him.
I remember when that flood happened. So Billy was living in Nashville, and we put out a Blackpool Lights EP later. So I flew out to Nashville for like a week. And we were working, and it was right after that flood.
Okay.
And I just remember driving around, and there were mattresses at the
Mm-hmm.
end of it because they all got just like got all moldy and wet, and just it was awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it got hit by a tornado like a few years ago, East
Yep.
Nashville. Crazy.
Yep. It
Yeah.
is. Yep. How we end every episode is we ask guests a series of 5 questions, and whenever Justin has it pulled up,
Yeah.
I'll ask the first one.
All right, Jim. What did you have any backup names for your daughters?
Yeah, we had Thomas. If either of them were a boy, we both like. Really, kind of like Mimi. That we call her Mimi. She was born Amelia. Mimi's her nickname, but that was like the one we both just agreed on, and we both agreed on Tallulah. We kind of just both knew, yeah, that's what it is. And now it's funny because you name your kids like Tallulah is not the most common name, and then if you meet Tallulah, it's just like, yeah, you're a Tallulah. Like you can't imagine of it, like it just almost like the name builds their personality in some way. And Mimi is definitely more a Mimi than Amelia. So that kind
Yeah.
of, and she made her nickname because she couldn't say Amelia, so she just kept saying
That's
Mimi.
so cute.
Yeah.
I've never met a Tallulah before. How'd you come up with that name?
I think my wife had just heard it. Funny enough, James, our old keyboard player, he had a dog named Tallulah.
Really?
And now I think it's not as uncommon. I think like Tallulah Riley, that actress, used to be married to Elon Musk, or I think
Oh,
they were
okay.
married.
Yeah, whatever they were.
Tallulah Bankhead, she was like a famous actress in like
Okay.
Alfred Hitchcock movies. And actually, Tallulah goes to school with another Tallulah, and they're in the same
What?
grade.
Wow.
Really?
And their last name starts with the same letter. So, and they're friends actually. So it's kind of funny.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Next question. Do you have a favorite TV or movie dad?
Oh man. I mean, Al Bundy's kind of amazing.
Yep. You can say Al Bundy.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't know why this popped in my head. I never loved the show, but he was always good. And I just remember I've been watching Righteous Gemstones,
Yeah.
and I was
Gosh.
just thinking how good an actor John Goodman is, and doesn't like sometimes gets forgotten about. So
Mm-hmm.
he was a good TV dad on Roseanne. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very much so.
All right. Next question. What is your go-to replacement curse word? Or do you just say whatever curse word
I
you
pretty
have?
much just say I You know what's funny is like I'm probably the least person who cusses at home in my family now. So I don't know. I always taught my kids, it's just a word. Know when to use, like, you know, don't just be
Yeah.
dropping F-bombs in public. I don't really have a darn.
Darn, yeah. This is becoming my favorite question to get the reaction to, because it's becoming more and more that dads are just like, oh, yeah, I should probably have one. I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I don't know. What's the word they used on Battlestar Galactica?
I
They
only
they
watched
had
like
they
the
had s-
first
for
two
that.
seasons. It's too
Yeah,
niche. I
they
can't
they had
follow you.
because it was on commercial television. So instead of saying the F
Yes.
word, they had some word for it.
I think in Fantastic Mr. Fox, they just say the word curses whenever they want to curse. That one always sticks in my head.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. 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 It's like, curses. Also makes you feel elegant whenever you're very mad.
Yeah.
Next question. Did you have a favorite kids' toy or activity you do with your daughters or used to do with your daughters?
One thing we do every summer, and we're doing it again this summer, is we go on a float, and that's been really awesome. And my dad goes with us, so Grandpa gets to come and he fishes, and we take a raft down a beautiful Missouri Spring-fed river.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. Best parenting advice you have received.
When they were little, the best advice we had was get them on a routine as soon as possible, like when they're babies. That's good
Yeah.
parenting advice because it makes your life easier.
Yep.
An advice my father gave me, I don't know if this is parenting advice, but he was a parent to a child that always stuck with me, right? Was choose your friends wisely.
There you go.
And that, like, you are who your friends are. And I told this to my kids too, because, once they're teenagers, you're not the most important voice in their head. You got to hope your voice is back there somewhere when they're making decisions. But ultimately, peer pressure is a lot for kids. So if you're hanging out with a bunch of idiots, then you're probably going to end up being an idiot. And that always stuck with me. And my core group of friends is still my core group of friends, and they're all doing pretty okay in life. So I guess I chose wisely.
I feel like that's one of those pieces of advice you hear whenever you're a teenager and you're like, oh, no, I can hang out with whoever. It'll be fine. And the older you get, you're like, oh, whatever community I build around me really affects me every single day. I should take this more seriously. Other thing is, I know you don't seem like you do a lot on Instagram or socials, but if you wanted to do any self-promotion for yourself, I know you're about to go do a massive tour over in Europe. I don't know if our listenership is that big in Europe, but you can still try,
Spread the word.
Yes.
That's right. I am at Wicked Supti, and that's SUPTI, Wicked Supti. And I have a blue check mark. You can't miss me.
Was Wicked Suptic taken? Someone already had the one with the C?
No, because my nickname's Wicked Supti, and it's a long, stupid reason.
That's awesome. Well, Jim, I really appreciate your time. It means a lot you'd be willing to do an episode. And thanks so much for sharing your story with us.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Jim.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you for listening to the episode.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at The Imperfect Dads Podcast.
And make sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to us.
The music is provided by the Wildfeathers.
And all episodes are produced and edited by me.
Make sure to tune in Mondays for new episodes.